Good evening. Welcome to the May meeting of the Tree Advisory Commission for the City of Newcastle. My name is Edward Ryan, and I'll be acting as chairman tonight, not the regular official chairman, but acting as chairman. We have a full commission tonight, 5 members, which
Roll call. Roll call.
oh, I'm sorry. Linda Susky.
Present.
Art Walker.
Present.
Alice Reel.
Here.
Walcott Davis. Here. Edward Murray. Thank you, Kathy. All present. Which constitutes a quorum, so we can start our business. First order of business is to approve the minutes from the April meeting, which I assume everybody on the commission has had a chance to review, having received those from the city office in advance. I don't know if anyone on the commission has a question about old business.
Just one note, I don't think Walcott can actually vote because he wasn't here, and neither was Linda, so it's 3 of us can vote on it only.
On the old business?
Yeah, on the
Understood.
minutes.
Okay,
And I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
a second. Okay, the minutes approved.
No, all those in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry, all those in favor? All those in favor?
I
Aye. That's everyone. Okay. First item was, old business was, item, application number 2502.
comments from the floor, it looks like it's next.
Is that next? I wish I had done the sounds, thank you. Maybe I'm gonna go back to the agenda here. Make sure I know what I'm doing. I notice we have a lot of people here today, so if there are public comments, I guess we would start with those. I know they pertain to, many of the applications probably.
If they pertain to the applications, you
Can
should wait until then they can discuss that during that time.
Okay,
You might want to hold off public comment
right.
until,
you can do it.
some chairs do public comment based on, like the hack, they have public comment on the application itself.
Okay.
Or you can do public comment closer to the end.
All right, well, how about that? That's a good suggestion. We'll start with, the old business. And, if nobody has a chance to talk on those issues, then we can entertain your comments at the end of the meeting. That's okay. So our first order of business would be the old application 202502. And, the applicants are present, I believe, Mr. or Mrs. Kleineff from,
I was afraid this was gonna be room from those trees.
37 West Sixth Street.
Yeah.
Last month, we had come to the conclusion that we needed to get more information from Mr. and Mrs. Kleineff about their application to have 2 sycamore trees removed from West Sixth Street in front of their residence at 37 West Sixth Street. They said that the roots were impacting sewer lines and the foundation of their residence. And we invited them to come to the meeting and discuss or bring to our attention what specific problems there are and what effort has been done to remediate those. So, Mrs. Kleineff, if you'd like to.
How did
Address
this
that.
road come about? Have you done some excavation and?
So, originally, my husband's here to help me. Originally, we had noticed that our neighbors to the left and the right had had their sewers excavated at a cost of $12,000 and $15,000. So we started getting nervous that our number was coming up. So we had tried to submit the tree request several times, and this time it finally got to the meeting. And, but it wasn't, I just thought it would be like a no-brainer, and they would just say, oh, yes, these trees have to come down. But apparently that's not the
Well,
case.
here's
So,
my problem at least. Sixth Street right there is the only street left in the city with a tree canopy.
yes,
And these are very old trees and they're beautiful in themselves. So it's it breaks my heart to say we're gonna take them down. I
I-
understand your situation.
I will be crying
Yeah.
and hugging this tree,
Mhm.
trust me, because when we moved here, that was our curb appeal, and that's why we liked our house.
Right.
So I will feel this pain more than you probably, because I'm gonna be looking out there one day and regretting this. But I did want to show you that the trees are about 20 feet from our foundation. The diameter, can you come help me with the
Sure.
version? The, what is it called that goes
The
around?
canopy, these trees, their roots go approximately 2 to 3 times the canopy. As the canopy is about 30 feet, which means these roots are going approximately 60 to 90 feet into our yard. So about 3 weeks ago, our sewer backed up. And we had to get it excavated, and this is one of the roots from the sycamore tree that damaged and ruined our sewer line. To a cost of $9,000. Our
So,
water line is wrapped up in one of the sycamore tree stumps.
I will show you that.
And now our big concern is our water line is next.
So, this right here,
Sure.
this is the tree, this is the road, and this is the water line in there somewhere. They mark it every once in a while. I mean, if you do something, and we're usually surprised it hasn't broken.
The water main is wrapped up in the stump itself at this point.
So this
this is-
picture,
Yeah.
I just want to show you, this is 10 feet back into my foundation on the side. And that's where this root came from that I brought in today. They're orange when they're first uncovered, and then they sort of get a little darker. So this is going past our foundation. And this is about 10 feet in, and that's how big it is. So I'm assuming it goes another 10, 20 feet further into
At
the
least.
backyard.
Mhm.
I don't know how many of these roots are touching the foundation or pressing up against the
Have you
foundation.
seen any damage to your foundation?
We believe there might be some in the basement, but our concern is we don't want to go, by that time it's too late. Unless the city wants to pay for the damage, we can wait till the damage happens and say, hey, city, you've got to pay for it.
These are the
That's where we're
cracks that
going.
are in our floor. I don't know if that means they're from the roots or not, but here's the picture. I put a level on there just so you could see, get an idea of how off it is. And then these are just additional, basically it took the guys, 6 hours to cut through all of the roots to get to the sewer pipe in order to replace it.
No.
So, I'll just go ahead and pass this. If you have any questions about what you're looking at, you can ask me, because I don't want to explain everything. but-
Now, the plumbers did say that these might be actually going into the county sewer line itself as well. That's the county's, I guess, the county's problem.
Yeah, there was a, hammer he took
Yeah.
down. I don't know if you want to pick this up and see how heavy it is in it.
It looks pretty substantial.
Okay, because I would just, it's quite heavy.
Was this out by the street? This particular,
No, this particular route was
Mm.
10 feet into my,
into your yard?
into my, well, no,
In
it
the
was
front yard.
actually 20 feet and then to the foundation and then an additional 10 feet. That's where this was cut out.
Now, did this, these were old terracotta pipes.
Yes,
Did the plumber say that the PVC will help prevent?
That's the hope, yes.
Yeah,
But again, once I look at these trees, I can't afford to be
yeah, right.
doing this
Are
all the time.
both trees a problem?
well,
I mean, we have no idea where the roots go, but our expectation is that yes, they are.
Here's the problem also, these two trees come down. Everybody on the street will be saying, this tree also needs to come down, this tree needs to come down. And eventually we will have lost
I
every tree.
Yeah. Now, not-
think
Not to be a jerk, but that's not a me problem. The me problem
understand
is
that.
I dropped $9,000 on a sewer.
I
line.
got it, yeah, yeah.
You know, I appreciate where you're coming from. We
No.
love the tree. I mean, I would love to see the rest of the trees stay out.
The other two
until they
people here
come.
that just nodded their heads.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's our struggle. Yeah, I appreciate where you're coming from, but we can't afford to be doing it.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
This
that's
is
true.
See, that's in my car, but not that one.
Respond to
It's the
this.
one to it. this is a DelDOT
Already paid
throughway, right,
I'm sorry.
on Sixth Street. I think you did some measuring before on Delaware Street. From the center of the road to how many feet it goes out on the other side. And I know going 6 towards south is a DelDOT throughway because they removed 7,000 bricks from that area. So I think maybe there's a technical question about
Whether these are
where the
city trees?
responsibility for all this lies.
Wow.
I don't know the answer. I'm not trying to be for or against. I'm just saying, we've had this question come up before. And
I think that if I could just interrupt, because I'm only gonna be here this one time, but the trees are coming down one by one upon request. And it seems to me that an approach should be taken a look at.
You know, it's exactly what I was
So, like that
thinking
we
today.
look at the whole street,
Mm.
make a plan for the whole street,
Mhm.
maybe get good pricing, because they're all gonna be done at the same time. Get beautiful new trees put in, and then in 4 years, we'll be able to look out and feel happy again. But it's gonna take a long time for us to be happy with the way the street looks, obviously. So the sooner we can get something in place, the sooner we can feel proud of what Sixth Street looks like. Because without these trees, Sixth Street's a little frumpy. Let's just say it.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I was thinking, and I'm not speaking for the commission here, but I'm talking about myself. I was thinking the same thing today. That maybe we should just bite the bullet here and say, this is not working for the homeowners, that the homeowners are getting huge bills because of this, and there's sidewalks that are, cattywampus, and,
but Alice, is it really your responsibility?
well, that's, I don't know.
Well, I don't either. I'm just saying before you,
No, I'm just my own opinion here. If we don't do it in the city, then maybe we should ask the county to think about it.
Well-
Or not the county, the state. It would be state,
potentially
right?
a state issue.
Right.
And
I did just put together a little memo to you all. I know you can't make these decisions, but you need to share it with somebody else. So I just thought this would help you when you share that with another organization or another.
All right, how do we find out?
So I made 2 copies, so I didn't know.
How do we find out whose
I
responsibility that
think
is?
Ed knows how to, or Art knows how to do this.
Right.
With my software, I can look
Hmm?
at, with my software, I can look at.
Okay.
parcel lines and stuff,
All right,
See where to find it.
okay. Cause who's at 16? Is that you? What was the Bartlett people out in front of your house today? Were they doing something with the tree? Or they just were parked there?
Yeah.
No, they just kept walking and down to the curbs. Or down past.
They were taking branches down. They were doing something. I didn't watch too closely.
Okay.
They were there working on the ash trees.
Did we agree to that? I was wondering, I'm wondering if that was it.
No, I'm serious.
Did,
I was,
or did we agree to that ash thing? I don't think we did.
we were looking at the ash tree that is surviving outside of the arsenal.
But I thought we were gonna when I saw that, I thought to myself, are they doing what they've always done and just, or did they get approval to do that with an ash tree? I don't know.
Up to you, Al.
Okay, I can, that would be helpful.
So we have to find out if it's our responsibility, number one, right? And, I mean,
That sounds like we need to find out if it's a county, a state or county or city issue, whether we bring that to the attention of the code enforcement officer.
Milt is here, by the way. This is Milt, our new code enforcement officer, right there.
I'm here.
Okay.
Thanks for being here.
Now, that's the next question, isn't it? The code inspector to know whether that's.
Hard to find out. I mean, I don't remember everything.
So and I'm sorry.
I can leave that route with you as well.
How about if I take a picture of that?
Yeah,
Okay.
And then invite you to.
So, should we sit down?
yes, the county has the sewer system, right? County's responsibility is the sewer system.
Yes.
So,
I just had it done.
so this could be a county thing too, right? To,
Well,
Prevent-
the roots seem to be growing into the county system. I don't think they're happy about it. But they are growing into this,
but I mean, their responsibility to maintain the system.
oh, sure.
So
Sure
if,
they are.
if maintenance of the system involves taking down the tree, these are extremely expensive things, you know.
Sure.
Well, I mean, so far, I think, just the people we've talked to have already spent about $60,000 in trying to.
In trying to-
maintain-
yeah.
collectively trying to maintain their properties.
Right.
And, so, and these roots, once these trees potentially are taken down, these roots are gonna grow. You people know, right?
Years, yeah.
For a number of years, they're gonna continue to grow, and it's good not to disrupt them because our house probably collapsed. Because right now there's sinkholes forming here and there because the roots are very drying. And I put this all in the document. Roots dry out the soil. And then that causes runoff instead of the water soaking in. So if you look at our street, when it rains, it's literally a river of everybody's water running off of their properties because it's too dry to sink into.
So these roots
the
suck in
ground.
all of the moisture from
Right.
around them. Is that-
Yes, that's how they're so big.
Yeah.
Because they just know how to find water. So there's the runoff issue that's going into the public sewer system. So it's a really big problem, and that's why we're here with so much information, because it's not just about us. And it's not just about the beauty of the trees. It is about the safety and just the maintenance costs that everyone is incurring to keep these, which, we wish we could, but, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for comprehensive
Yeah.
presentation and
Can I say,
documentation. Yes, sir.
I'd like to say something. Tom Whitehead, 131 East Second. I think you had to ask a couple questions. A sycamore tree is a terrible tree for Newcastle. They look nice. They have very shallow roots. Very shallow roots. We have sycamore trees near us, near Plum Alley. They destroy the sidewalk. And just like this nice lady said, if you planted them today, I don't even think they would be on the list. That you have to answer, some common sense questions. Who takes it down? In my opinion, there's no doubt those trees come out. And then if you look at it and say, how would you like to pay $12,000 for nothing? And the branches, Mrs. McLaughlin, I was talking to her the other day, Mike McLaughlin's wife, he passed away. The darn tree comes completely across the street, hanging on over her car. Now, who's liable if that tree comes down? I'd go after the city in a heartbeat. And I'm not that way. I served my country 4 years. And I don't think it's a question that should come down. They're a terrible, dirty tree. And they get all wrapped up in the utility wires. When the tree people come, they cut these giant holes through the sycamore trees. They look terrible. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Whitehead. Appreciate hearing your comments. While we're on the issue, it seems like an appropriate time to mention that Mrs. Jones and Mr. Pavlicek, who are sitting in the front, they've submitted an application, kind of like Mr. and Mrs. Kleineff, to have a sycamore tree removed from 110 West 6th Street in April. And for some reason, their application didn't get to the city office, so it was not given a file number. So I would like to refer to that and give them an opportunity to speak because it's on the same issue. Mrs. Jones said that the roots of the tree were blocking the sewage pipe for the second time in 7.5 years. They've spent in the area $15,000, and a plumber says that this will continue to happen within 2 years. So they are requesting that the tree be removed.
That's what we spent already. We spent some when we for a month after we moved in. Then we spent, because our pipes underneath the house collapsed. I didn't know that the roots went that far. I'm willing to bet that's another problem. Plus, I found out the foundation, one of the walls collapsed.
Before we ever moved
Before
in.
we moved in, I found this out later, and which makes sense because there's a pole and rocks fall into the laundry room, pieces of foundation fall into my, anyway.
Support bracing was.
So
put in there
anyway.
to hold up the 2x4s that it snapped.
We just found out a month ago that we need to pay another 10,000 on top of that.
To replace the
Sounds like you
final.
could get that from the previous owners maybe for not disclosing.
I don't know, but $25,000. And they told us that this will probably last 2 to 3 years before we have to get it done again. After $25,000, it's just crazy.
Thank you for your comment. Continuing on the same issue, I wanted to, if possible, move ahead to application number 2025-07. Mr. and Mrs. Del Coglin, who are sitting in the back, they live at 16 West Sixth Street, and they have submitted an application to have sycamore tree removed from the front of their house. And I could refer to that. Or Mr. Del Coglin, if you would like to comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record, but we have the same problem everybody else is having. We have to have our sewer line routed out every 2 to 3 years. Foundation has leaked water since we moved in there in 92. The wires, I have pictures, the wires are all tangled up into the branches. And I know this is a personal problem, but I'm on medical equipment, and every time the power goes out, I can't sleep. I have to get up. But anyway, the sidewalk is all buckled up, and I want to replace the concrete, but I'm not going to go out and spend, $9,000 to get that front cemented, and 2 years later, the roots are coming up through it. The branches are all over our roof. It's gone over into our neighbor's, his porch. And, I certainly don't have $12,000 to put out for a PVC sewer line. So, and I agree that in the summertime, driving down Sixth Street, it's pretty.
Yeah.
And we're not against a tree out front. We want to get the tree out of there, get the stump out, and then get a new tree planted there like they did in the 500 and 600 block of Delaware Street. They've been taking trees out,
Mhm.
and hopefully, like the gentleman said, that they put a different type of tree in there that, doesn't act like a sycamore does. And I'm just gonna go out on a limb here. I don't echo on what the gentleman over here said about I don't think the state that is technically Route 9. That's a state road there. But I don't think the property is. I think that's a city issue, but definitely look into that.
And there's
If
some,
it is,
there's
maybe
some
they can
formula
help.
that they use from the center of the roadway.
Yeah, right.
And I think
Right.
that Milt probably has to calculate that in the middle.
And the other thing is, our tree leans over Sixth Street. So, we're getting these storms more frequently in the summertime. If that thing falls, it's going to land on the 3 houses across the street from us. And take all that power with, the power lines. And if it does come out, I don't know how far these roots, I don't know how far the roots are under the ground. But they say when them things fall, it rips all the roots up with it.
Which means our house goes.
Yeah,
The roots.
and our bedroom's in the front of the house where the tree is. So, but I mean, it is definitely a problem.
I'd like to add one thing.
Go ahead.
Well, we were told that if anyone fell in front of our house, our homeowners would have to pay for that. But how can we maintain the sidewalk if the roots have torn up the sidewalk? You know, I would have to turn around and
You know, I don't,
say for the city, okay, now you refund us because the tree root was the reason we can't repair the sidewalk.
Yeah, the concrete's pretty raised.
It is.
In the area
We
of
have
tree, I saw that.
photos,
I got some,
to show you.
I have a lot more on my phone, but
that-
we ran out of ink trying to print them out.
Exhibit B.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Delcon. We have a picture in our packet, I believe,
Yeah.
but we pass these down anyway.
Last.
While there's a quiet moment, if I could, I talked to the insurance company about the last backup we had in the house. And we've had 2 insurance claims so far from the previous 2 times we've had to have repairs done. This last time, they said that we should not open up, or they won't even open up one for us until the problem is solved,
The tree is down.
until the tree is down. Exactly. I've got drywall and flooring that needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to do it myself. It's gonna take months until this is resolved. So,
Well, you know, it's gonna be a huge, I hope it is a state situation, because it's gonna be
Yeah.
a huge cost.
yeah, I just wanted to let you know
Yeah,
that
no, I appreciate it.
maintenance wise.
Right.
I got a question. I was just thinking, is there any way you can get the University of Delaware in to find out through some of the new technology to find out where these root systems are, maybe in terms of the whole city? There is.
I'm not sure
technology.
that that's gonna be useful. You know, it sounds like we know where they are.
Well, I mean, in terms of where the rooting is going, in terms of maybe other homes, or in terms of foundation, that's
You
all I
mean,
was
I
asking.
mean, maybe trees that are, maybe some trees can be capped, is that what you're?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, clearly, it's a pretty significant issue and one that has to be addressed rather than individually, probably, collectively.
I think so.
About Sixth Street, the Sycamores on Sixth Street. We have a couple of suggestions. One is that to check and see if it's the state has any responsibility, DelDOT, because it's Route 9, which might help to offset some cost if there's cost involved to the city. Also have Code Inspector Mr. Draper, who might be able to lend some, put some research or help us determine how to proceed. But like Ms. Real said, it would be a tremendous expenditure, so we have to do a lot of research, do some research as to how we could, if we make the recommendation is to have the trees removed, is to how to affect the cost or to and make a plan for replacing the trees. So I guess at this point, we have a lot of research to do.
Yeah, I think we have to say something about tabling it until we find out whose responsibility it is, motion to table.
Yeah.
I make a motion to table, these 3, 2025-02, 2025-07, and the one that was, mistakenly left off there.
Yeah, I think it
That's
probably would be
110.
safe to call that 2025-15.
Okay, 2025-15, until we find out whose property they're on and who has responsibility. And then next month, we tackle the question, if it's our responsibility, city's responsibility, next month we tackle the question of how we address this. So that's the motion. A second?
Does anyone second the motion?
Second.
I hope that,
All
yes,
those in
sir.
favor?
Mr. Whitehead,
I'd
All those in
like to
favor?
add,
Ed, all those in favor?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Whitehead,
no, I'd just like to add one thing.
please.
I am a licensed surveyor in Delaware. since 1969. You could probably solve your problem pretty quickly. You just go to the right-of-way division of the state. And they can look into at least Delaware Avenue. As far as what they're responsible for.
That would be through Del Dot,
Yeah,
right of way
Yeah.
division.
right-of-way division. And I think they could answer,
Okay, that's a good suggestion. Thanks, Mr. Whitehead. Okay, moving along. Thank you all for coming. Feel free to stay, or excuse yourself as you wish. As
We are
move
gonna
forward.
address this, I promise. I know it takes a while.
No,
You know, it's a big deal, so I know it's a big deal for you guys too. We have to address
It is a big deal.
Well, I think the comprehensive presentation and the number of people involved bring significant attention to the problem. And certainly requires a solution.
I had submitted an application a while ago for my, for 38 West Sixth Street.
Sorry, Mrs. Bryant, didn't see that.
Well, I don't know if I ever got a number, but I was told that, basically it's really kind of out of our hands. It's very expensive. We'll try to do as best maintenance as we can. But I've had a limb like that hit my car several times. So
But that's on, isn't that on, what's the street there?
that's Tremont and
Tremont.
Sixth, right?
The street's on Tremont.
Right, now we have a beautiful new curve. It's a gorgeous curve. Unfortunately, everything around it is really a mess. So, I don't know if I should, try to submit my application again, but I'm certainly within, what everyone's going through, the maintenance, I'm one of those people that moves my car religiously, so the city can be, the streets can be swept. And it doesn't do me any good because the tree just continually, is subjecting us with whether it be the very big limbs or the branches or whatever comes off the trees, I call them helicopters, whatever they call them. But the money saved from not doing the city sweeping could be certainly put towards something, because it just doesn't seem, I don't know what is being collected or, I don't know, cost prohibitive. But I will submit my application again, but I certainly want to be part of whatever action is taken with everyone here. I think and I do appreciate you guys have been great listening, and hopefully we can resolve this. Thank you.
Ms. O'Brien resides on Sixth Street in the same location. That's.
Right. But
Thank
he's
you.
talking about a tree on Tremont.
Well, it's Sixth and Tremont. So if you looked at the corners,
Yeah.
mine is, I don't know if if east is the river, then I'm on the west, north side. But that tree goes over, it is hugging over Sixth. That the tree limbs are all over that corner house, which is my house and the Luomas and the mix. So that tree goes, a lot of houses are gonna go.
Is that a sycamore as well, or is that a
Is it a
maple?
maple or
It
else?
sounds like a maple when you said.
The helicopter?
Oh, silver maple. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, thank you. I believe we're into the new business now.
No, I think the Albini thing.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Sorry?
Dominic Albini.
Oh, Mr. Albini,
Great.
2025-05. Mr. Walker determined last month that the area along the Markel Trail was state property. And I called Mr. Albini and told him that. So we rejected the application last month, I believe. And I talked to Mr. Albini about that. He said he understood, but he inquired as to who he should contact. I've seen people maintaining the area along the Markel Trail, but I'm not sure who they work for. This is an area that's basically between 9th Street and Delaware Street, or Route 273. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
bringing that little show and tell. Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you
Mr.
so much.
Stelkon.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Ed, I'm looking at the minutes from the last meeting and the tree commission did not reject.
I was gonna ask.
Oh, we tabled.
It was
We
tabled.
tabled it.
Have they have a motion to deny the request? Right?
Yeah, we denied. the
I
request.
move that we deny the request because of lack of our ability as it is state property. For the trees along the Mark Hill Trail.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
So Mr. Alfini has been notified.
Great.
Okay, new business, application 2025-06, Mr. Whitehead, who's, we've heard from, lives at 131 East Second Street, and he has requested that tree be removed and replaced.
Well,
We have a photo of that, Mr. Whitehead.
oh, yeah, okay,
But
I
feel,
went by the tree today, it is a little fat.
feel free to address us.
yeah. Well, Cliff with the maintenance department, he was cutting down the tree across the street. Where Mike, it was a big, I think it was a maple tree. He came over that same day, looked at this, and he said it needs to go. And I can tell you, we've been there for 24 years. I moved over from Penfield, 2001, I think it was. That tree, and I measured the circumference now is 1'10" or 7 inches, 4 feet up. That thing hasn't grown probably in diameter, maybe 2 inches. It's always been a sickly tree. Talked to the neighbor again tonight, Susan Flood. She wants it gone, her next door neighbor, her husband, my wife. It's just been a rotted mess of a tree. It's an eyesore. And you can see little bits, you might have a long branch, few leaves on it. It just, and Cliff said that the roots would come out real easy. And sort of what we wanted was maybe a red maple to go in there, or crimson. Something, it don't have to be huge, but I mean, I've had a couple branches drop on that black Mustang. And I wasn't too happy with that. And it's not a good shade tree. It just,
What kind of tree is in it now?
I don't know what the
Does
heck.
it have flowers in the springtime? Does it bloom in the springtime? Flowers? It looked like a cherry kind of tree, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a cherry.
No,
I'm not sure what that's.
it is a sad looking tree. I have to
Yeah,
say.
it is I took 4 pictures today.
It
and
doesn't look like you would
just-
have to give it somebody to take it down either, because it's.
And he said he could take it down, the whole thing down and take the roots out.
Who said that?
Pardon me?
Who said that?
Cliff with that.
I don't know,
maintenance-
I didn't hear you.
Yeah,
Cliff.
Cliff with I don't know his last name, but
It's MSC.
he's the superintendent at the maintenance. He took the tree down across the street.
Why did he say it should come down? Just because it looks like it's,
No, he said the roots in that
oh,
were rotted. He could look at it.
really?
And I said, well, it's just not grown at all. I said, it's a sickly tree. So, and the Flux, they've been there next door neighbor, probably 40 years. They moved in, I mean, and they agree it.
Well, you know, I went by the tree today and it is, really sad looking. It's not healthy. And, I think probably can be taken down by the city rather than, but having somebody come in to get it down because it's not very big. And so
Ours do it too.
yeah, yeah. So, but replacement, we've got a long list of trees to be replaced, so it might not be replaced right away. But it, you know, it would be on the list to be replaced.
Okay. When do you think it was?
I don't know.
Yeah,
But I would move that we accept, the application that, we, request that the city remove the tree and that there be a replacement when possible.
do you have any idea when they replace?
Yeah.
I mean, is it like
We have a long.
by the fall or,
Probably not,
pardon me,
probably not,
by the fall?
because there are a lot of, if you look around, there are a lot of trees that have been taken down that are waiting for replacements and other ones that we've committed. Right, Ed, am I wrong about this?
Yeah, we plan to plant, we planted about 12 trees in the spring and we hope to plant 12 more in the fall.
Well, let me ask you, what if we paid for it? Me and the neighbor?
That would be,
That would help.
yeah, that would help.
Because I know they want a tree. I mean, just something
It
there.
has to be the tree, it has to be a tree from our approved list. though.
I understand. I understand. And maybe something, I'd put in something, I mean, I plant all my trees in Pennsylvania, I'd put something in. As nice as, you know, from your list,
Mhm.
Yeah, if it were from the recommended list of replacement trees,
right?
I think that would
Would
be,
you be able to water it as well?
Oh,
Is that-
sure,
Okay.
great time,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
yeah,
Does anybody want to
that
second
would
my
be
motion?
good, yeah.
Do you remember what it was? I move that we accept the request for, making removal of the tree and replacement when possible for, 131 East Second Street,
or replacement by the owner, by the
but
homeowner.
with, to be, financed by the owner.
But, yeah. But we finance it, the flux in myself, and maybe McCarthy, he's there. And we can buy the tree,
Right,
and then if we find it, we could plant it, that's no problem, I have water.
okay, great, okay.
If you could put all that and then,
Does anybody want to second my motion?
I have a question before we move to it. There are 3 maples on the recommended list. I don't know if any of them are red maples. But the other thing I'm wondering is, some of these trees are best in sun, some are best in shade. I don't know if a maple is appropriate in that location and maybe that's.
Yeah, that's why I
Well,
didn't
there
say
was-
specifically what kind of tree.
Yeah, we
It would have
can't
to be
promise
something
there will
off
be
the
a.
well, there's
list.
plenty of sun on the street.
And then who makes that decision about what an
Well,
appropriate tree for a
I,
particular
I
location?
think he could look at our list and then decide, and we could say yes or no, depending upon whether we thought it was.
So he would need to come to the tree commission for approval to plant a
I
specific
think so,
tree.
I think so.
I think Rod and Norm are
Yeah, they would be.
probably the experts of
Yeah.
recommendations.
Yeah,
I'm not wrong.
I don't know about that, but we're more than happy to help you
Oh,
put a tree in.
oh, okay, what's your name?
Ron,
Ron? Oh,
nice to meet you.
Sure. Do you have a phone number?
Listen, pull up a chair.
To your office.
anybody want a second? motion?
I second your.
Well,
Pull up a chair. Well, no, but you don't have to,
All
stand like you're at attention.
I don't know.
What's the expression?
Good.
all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, man. We're
I don't
three
know,
doors.
Oh, it's existing,
Yeah.
application 2025-08. Mr. Vince Luciano, 122 Friendly Street.
And.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Vukovic and Mr. Whitehead. We're having trouble, hearing the minutes of the meeting. So if you would got, perhaps step outside or keep your comments until afterward.
I'm good.
Give me your,
Good to meet you.
give me your phone.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. 2025-08, Mr. Vincent Fisciano of 122 Harmony Street requests that the tree be pruned. And we have a picture. I think we could probably add that to the list of trees to be pruned. It is, there might be branches near the home. I read the application specifically since I looked at the photo. Limbs are overgrowing, banging on the roof and windows. So I would make a motion that we add the tree to the list of trees to be trimmed or pruned by the city.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll add that to the city list of trees to be pruned. Application 2025-08. Next is application 2025-09, 54 East 4th Street. This tree has been on a list to have the stump ground for some time. And it didn't make it in the last round of grinding. But it does still appear, it is still on the list and it was approved to be ground. So I don't know if any further action is
So
required.
that's
on
kind of a
that.
redundant application.
Yeah. Well, because it wasn't addressed, Mrs. Baldet contacted the city office, so they put it back on. But it is on the list. We have about, I'm aware of about 3 or 4 trees. Okay, next is 2025-10, Daniel and Jean Norville, West 4th Street. Request a tree be planted in front of their residence.
Because they're the only guys that didn't get one, right?
Well, no, the reason.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
No,
Norville.
that's right. No, the only reason why, because last year you guys came around, I thought, ooh, the gas lines. We waited till the gas lines were all in. I didn't know where, if ours was gonna be, I had no idea. Fortunately, it wasn't as bad. So I thought I'll just wait. And then you guys were plunking them in. I thought, oh, I better put my request in for a tree this year. So that was the reason.
Okay,
Well, I think that's, a good application. I move that we, agree to
No.
add, 45 West Fourth to the, planting coming up. I don't know how, I didn't do that very well, did I? I move that we agree, approve the application, by Daniel G. Norval for, planting at 45 West Fourth Street.
second. Awesome. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we do have a pink flare to put in the.
Good. They look beautiful. They really do. I'm so pleased with I think we have the prettiest street in the city now, really
Yep.
good.
Hopefully that would be a fall planning, Mr. Norville.
Yeah, that's what I figured, I figured it would now. Figured if I put it in now.
Okay,
No, that's good, that's great.
it's been approved. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for your time and glad people are on those trees,
Okay,
particular trees. All right, thanks for your time. All right, go ahead.
yes, sir. That's a pretty open spot. That's on the East 4th Street, West 4th Street. That's the location.
There's a whole row of new trees there that look just lovely.
Right.
And they're, cherries. And they're gonna, well, they are beautiful now, but they're gonna be even more beautiful in a couple of years. I have to leave, however. I didn't mention this.
Yes, you
and I
did.
apologize.
Yes, Mrs.
I
Brill
have
is
emergency
excused
to take care of. Thank you.
from the meeting. Okay. Good luck with that, critter.
Thanks.
Next is application, item number 6 in new business. 2025-11. Ms. Williams on Gray Street has a request. This says planting request, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's a pruning request. Yeah, it's actually a request for 3 trees to be pruned. I drove by there and, there are 4 very large trees along Gray Street. This is a, it runs parallel to Washington Street. And it's on the side of the street closest to Washington. And her residence is right next to Susie Park, which is near St. Anthony's Social Club. There are 4 very large, I think, oak trees that are planted in the front yard of the properties. There are probably about at least 8 townhouses in a row that are all connected, and 4 very large, I think they're oak trees. I could be mistaken. There's a photograph. So when I went by there, I thought there's no way to plant trees under those on the tree lawn. So it wasn't until tonight that I realized that they are pruning, it's a pruning request. But they're not on the tree lawn. So I'm not sure if they're on considered private property or
It's city. I checked the parcel data. It's it was
within the city.
so it's all us.
They have a huge canopy and the branches are practically touching each other. It's
Another group of London plants, I believe.
okay.
There are about 8 or 9 of them in a row or.
Other side. There, he's talking about the other side.
Oh, yeah, this is the other
of the
side,
street.
closer to Washington Street.
Okay,
Almost looks like a cherry.
yeah.
But I'm not sure. But she wants them pruned away from her house.
I believe that's what the application says, yeah.
Susie Park is there and then.
They're pretty large.
They're huge, yeah.
And they're hitting the house, is that what
She
it's
didn't
saying?
specify,
Why?
how to improve. Yeah, she didn't specify that at all. We don't really know what she wants to improve.
Yeah. Can we find out why they should be pruned first? Or why she's requesting it or, anything?
Yeah, no, the tree in the back isn't our responsibility. That's her. The tree line goes on the side to the back, and that's like residential property, so that people be responsible for that, but the one in the front would be. So, yeah, I think we should, ask her how she wants it pruned before we make any decisions about it.
Are you able to talk to her or?
Yeah, I could call her
Okay.
and ask her if, I don't know if she's talking about all the trees along that street or specifically her,
Right.
at 922 Gray Street.
And you said this, which tree did you say wasn't ours? The one that's closest to the park? This one here.
Yeah, that's our,
That would be the side of her,
That is ours?
the side of her
That
house.
is the city's?
you know, when that's at the corner, that's city property,
Okay.
but the one in the backyard is residential, so we would.
Oh, no.
respond.
But what about on the side of her
Well,
property?
like, the side to the back, that's residential.
Even though
It's lined up at,
it's between her house and the city
yeah,
park?
because the way the park is like, there's like a little buffer in there between the house and the park. In the buffer area, it's like a zone where it's like considered residential. But where the tree is, it's considered like a residential parcel,
One on the
The
back
tree on
and
the
the
side.
back.
Okay,
so it's not inside the park.
so we could only recommend the tree in the
The
front.
yeah. Right, ask her how she wants it pruned, she didn't.
Or why
specify.
she wants it or how she wants it. What's the reason why she wants it pruned? I guess, and, I guess we'll table it.
Okay, so there's a motion to get some more information and table the issue until the June meeting.
Okay, I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So application 2025-11 tabled until June. I'll make some inquiries with Mrs. Williams. Okay, application number 7, 2025-12. Anna Burns of West Fifth Street requests a tree planted. I happened to speak to Mrs. Burns. She came out when I was putting tree bags on, and she likes the trees across the street along the library and would like to see one planted in front of her house. I told her that, could be considered for fall or spring next year. She seems satisfied with that. So I would make a, recommendation or motion that we add that to a list of, future trees as time and, resources permit.
Yes, I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 2025-12, we'll add to, request for a new tree. Okay, application number 8, 2025-13, Mr. Beal or Miss Beal, 26th The Strand. Actually, we might consider these two, the next application. Perhaps discuss these together. They're, two trees side by side at number 26 and 28 The Strand. And they are both requesting pruning. Both, residents, owners request two trees be pruned. I looked at our list of, new plantings that I can't tell if these are 4 or 8-year-old trees, but they're practically identical in size. It's Mr. Pennell and Mr. Beal. And here's a photograph, which I might show here to Mr. Vukolich and Mr. Lear. Maybe they're not
I
exactly
looked
the same.
Yeah, we looked at them today, yeah.
Look down.
I
They
don't
don't
know
look
what they're
very big.
requesting to be pruned.
Are these, they want them shear, are these hornbeams?
Yeah.
I think they want them to be,
Like-
away from the house, especially the Beals, which I think was put in maybe 2 years earlier. And it is a little larger, the one that the Pennells have is a little tighter. But they're European hornbeams and they're used to being, kind of trimmed and shaved, so
Would they want the city to do that?
I assume so, yeah.
If they do, that sounds a little more specific, the type of pruning that they're looking for.
It's a good question, because with the European hornbeam, it's gonna be difficult to take any branches out.
Right.
So all you can do is,
No, aren't they usually sheared at that point, or do you go through and prune them?
you could spend all day there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in Europe, they spend weeks doing it.
Yeah, and I don't think the city has weeks doing it.
I don't, yeah, and I don't,
How much, yeah, that's another thing, maybe we should ask how much and what they actually want.
I have a
Yeah.
protocol question. This is my
Sure.
first meeting on a government body. The second application for the Pennell's residence at 28th The Strand is signed by Mr. Beal, and I'm just wondering should it be signed by the Pennells since it's in front of their house? I don't know how much.
That I don't know.
That.
Might just be a technicality, but I mean, I could see where a neighbor is, submitting the application kind of, 2 for 1, you might say.
No.
I would imagine that they're both, Mr. Pennell's aware of. But perhaps not. Maybe you should check with Mr. Pennell. We can do that. Make sure he's on the same page. You think it's fair to ask how they want them pruned?
Yeah, that's probably a good question, to ask how they want them pruned or
shaped.
Or shaped, I
It
mean.
sounds like they want them topped off, like they're saying too tall and top too long. Like they want them topped off and then side shaped up. That's what I'm reading anyway.
Is there any recommendations? I mean, they don't look that big, should
No,
they?
they don't, so,
they're not big.
they're not big.
So maybe we should, reject the application and, ask them to submit it.
In
2
more
years.
detail.
Sorry, Mr. Lynn?
In more detail.
Oh, in more detail or in the future? That's
Maybe
probably-
we should table it and request more information on what they would prefer. Is that,
I think it's a great suggestion
Yeah.
because it's a unusual tree in that it's
right,
gonna be tricky just to knock the top off and then expect it to kind of, I mean, you could turn it into a shrub easily.
and when the city planted it, was that the intention to have it shaped, or was it to be a specimen tree to let grow and?
Well,
But, I mean, them as the homeowners, they look at it every day, so,
well, I think that's a real good point because we limbed up the Fennel tree.
okay,
It was, I mean, if you look at the beels, the branches emanate almost, from the ground, like, maybe about a couple feet up.
right, I imagine it's hard to get a car under there,
And we took the Pennell tree and then, made it more like a tree.
right. Yeah, it looks
And,
nice.
and the beels didn't want that at
No,
the
they
time.
didn't.
So they rejected that, and so it's a fair question. What do they really want?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's
Okay.
not,
So Mr. Buell is the red brick, the tree in front of the red brick house?
that's the Pennells.
Canals.
Oh, that's Pinellas, okay.
Right, yeah.
The one that's lower.
It could probably be limbed up more. But both of them at one time were, just like a typical European hornbeam coming right out of the ground.
But either one of them originally wanted them pruned. They wanted them low limb.
They did. Yeah.
Both of them, because I looked at those trees years ago.
Right.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is smart, to ask them what they want
Right.
specifically, because it's very possible someone could do something and they say, well, that's not what I had in mind. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
European hornbeam. Yeah,
So,
So the question would be limbed up versus shaped.
right,
Is that fairly accurate?
Well, they say on the
Question.
application that it's too tall, so
so I know in front of, next to Jessup's, there's two hornbeams, Keith Adams' house, that are shaped. Is that what they're looking for? What, we need more detail, what they want.
well, everyone
The
that,
city,
everyone after the fact would like their hornbeams to look like Keith Adams, for instance.
Exactly.
But it only took him 12 years to get to that
Right.
point.
right,
Are they towards the river from Jessup's?
yeah,
Okay, I think I know where you mean.
And now there are two more on the street that you're gonna have to deal with, and that's at number 10. And those were put in at the same time with the idea that they would be left low and that they would be shaped at the top. But the owners are gone now. The owners that put the trees in, I'm sorry,
okay.
but the new owners
Uh,
haven't said anything, and I'm not sure what they want. But they're gonna have to be dealt with soon, because if you don't, they're just gonna go 40, 50 feet in the air.
well, I can, talk to, I know Sandy and Benny Beal, I can actually go and
Okay.
talk to them.
Great.
But if we wanna table it until we get more information,
Which you suggested, you made a
Okay.
motion to table it until June,
yeah,
and I would second that motion. Is anyone in favor? Aye. Okay, so we'll table, application 2025-13 and 25-14 until June,
And Ed, sorry to cut in,
at
but
least.
this may be one of those unusual situations where you want someone to really look at the aesthetics of it,
Okay.
rather than just saying, oh, I think these need to be trimmed. Because it's gonna make a huge bit of difference in the end, what they're gonna look like. And I don't mean 6 months from now, I mean, 2, 3, 4 years from now.
right.
Because we have some in town that really look just awful.
More names.
European hornbeams that really haven't been treated along the way.
So they're a
And
tree.
Norman knows a little bit about this.
I know he does.
Talking on a turn, but
No, but you wanna prune those when they're young. And I know specifically that I was told they didn't want them limbed up were touched. So they were not, nothing's been done to them for I don't know how long.
So in your
Long, long
experience,
time, you know, 10 years maybe.
in your opinion, is it too late to start trying to shape and limb and? Are we at the point where,
Well, I'd have to take a really close look. I mean, at the thickness of the branches, you know.
right,
They're thick. They're really
so you
thick.
can't really take too much from it at this point. You can only take what's,
Yeah, it's not like they're, you know, a lot of trees, you know, the branch goes out and you can remove the lower fork to keep it away from the house. These, well, they're not near the house yet, but they're just difficult to prune. I mean, it would take a while to go in there and prune it, and it would have to be done by hand.
so it's something they would have maybe. It's a,
It's almost like it's specialty pruning and
right,
if the homeowner wants that, they should be responsible for
it's
it.
not something the city doesn't
No,
do.
No,
Especially.
it's not what you do,
Right,
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my point in all this. I don't mean to be cutting in on you.
No,
but-
you're fine.
It's an unusual situation, but number 10, the 2 trees there may be savable. Because they've been in half the time. So someone like Norman could, you know, get in and actually have a good impact on this. And there's one other one on the street in front of number 13. Jenny and Dick Appleby's old house, and we limbed that up. That was a Davy project. And they took maybe about 30% of the bottom of that off, and you wouldn't hardly know it's the European hornbeam. Very smart.
What's the mature height of a European hornbeam?
It could be, what, 40, 50 feet maybe?
Because it looks like both of them are planted under wires.
There may be cable wires there, but not,
Cross wires,
Yeah,
not running parallel to the
not the
street,
big
running
ones.
into the house.
Big ones are on our side, yeah.
Mhm.
But a good observation because they're, at least the Beals is kind of ensconced in them a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're still young. I mean, they've got a lot of growing to do. But this is just a weird thing, you know, where you've got 2, 4, 5 on a block, and then you turn the corner, and then you've got Keith's Adams.
right.
But so many people with European hornbeams have said to me, why can't mine look like Keith's? And I said, because he's really good at this, and, you know, and it's all hand pruning, as you know, Walker.
Right, it is.
But I
That's
think
my
it's
concern.
also a problem because there's 2 dogwoods on your side of the street further up that people don't want limbed up or pruned at all.
The colonnade, they want it columnar.
I mean, how would that be handled when they get bigger? I mean,
When you do it while they're young, like you said.
right.
Yeah, but they say don't touch them. And they also paid for 2 of the 4 that are there, so, you know, I think they have a certain jurisdiction over them. Even though there are trees, right?
Well, that's something, again, my first meeting I'm trying to understand is when does it become the city's jurisdiction to handle pruning? Clearly, if pruning is needed for the health of the tree,
Right.
but clearly if there's the potential for damage to structures, clearly if there's interference with wires, but if it's pruning just for aesthetics, that's where it seems to be a little more of a gray area because it costs money and
Yeah.
the others are higher priority.
Yeah.
And especially this kind of pruning sounds like it would be pricey.
It could well be, yeah, especially now, now Norman has been, trimming our trees for about the last 6, 7 years. For a couple of days in the winter, and essentially he doesn't ask permission, he just goes around and, you know, does the best trimming that needs to be done. But there are a couple of instances where people have said, don't do it. And so we honor it, right? I mean,
Even though it's technically the city's tree,
exactly.
right?
Good. Just like we would never put a tree in front of someone's house if they said, we don't want one there, right?
Right.
We don't do it, even though it says in the ordinance, plant them wherever you want them.
Okay, thank you, very helpful.
Interesting discussion, yeah. So when it's a little more specialized, we need to talk to the owner. Okay. I believe that takes care of the new business and new applications. It's time for member comments and discussion. Number one, about the budget report. And I don't know if everyone got a copy, that Alice passed this report out that Diane Delgado from city office sent to Alice. Perhaps I could read it out loud.
Please, if you would, thank you.
There were several items that came through in April. Last month, the balance was $14,836.90. Since then, we've paid Gateway Garden $4,230.10 for trees, Brandywine $500 for stumps, and $3,200 to Antonio's for landscaping. There's also a security cost, I think, for the room here. The new balance is $6,720. I also have a quote from Brandywine for $590 for some stumps that are still in need of grinding. After this, the balance will be $6,130.23. I'm sure the mowing and other landscaping will be monthly from now until the end of June. So I'll just mention that Alice didn't understand, and nor do I, what the $3,200 for landscaping to Antonio was for. And I think
Same question I have.
the last line suggests that maybe it was mowing.
We're not in charge of mowing, or this committee doesn't have anything to do with mowing, from what I understand.
Yeah, we wouldn't have any mowing, and then the only other thing would be preparatory for, tree pits and everything for the planting.
He does do that, right?
But he didn't do anything this year with that.
Okay.
So we planted 21 trees. And he wasn't involved in any of them. Now, the only other thing I could think of was that he was involved in beautification before. And now Heidi and Tara.
But it wouldn't be of the tune of how much?
$3,200.
$3,200.
But we only have $2,000 in the budget, I think, for beautification. Kathy said, don't look at, come on. Don't draw me into the line of fire, whatever you do.
So
Yeah, I
maybe
think-
it's a mix up of the bill, maybe it's supposed to go to the
City,
the
trust.
to the trustees, and they got mixed up as my only.
So it sounds like we have to ask Diane for some more specific line item as to what the charge was for.
I think it's a great question.
Yeah.
And I might just suggest up until fairly recently, we wouldn't have even had the opportunity to ask this question. Partly because we never saw the budget.
Right.
Yeah, so this is a whole new thing, which is, I think, wonderful, right? I mean, it lets you know where you are with it.
Okay. I will ask Alice to check with Diane and ask her for specific invoice, what this is for and why it's billed to the tree commission. And so we'll table this issue until June. Hopefully Alice will have an answer for us.
Right.
Okay. Since she left early, we should give her the responsibility, right? No, I mean, she handles the budget, so.
You're right.
Okay. The next item is the spring planning plan. Sure why there's a discussion, why that's a discussion item, but perhaps somebody would like to speak about the spring planning plan? So it's on the agenda. I don't have any questions.
It's completed.
It's completed. The invoice was submitted and presumably paid.
Everything's paid out.
Mr. Bukolich just said that 21 trees were planted in the spring.
Or, yes, this spring, yes, yeah. Mhm. And only one of them appears to be dead.
You think that's a
Yeah, it's the one over by the
library?
Library, yeah.
Yeah.
Third one in. it's still, it's green, if you scratch it, but it's,
No blooms at all. Yeah, it's one of the four that came from Vic, I believe.
came from Vic, yeah.
So is there, what would normally happen?
Well, we'll
Uh,
see.
Take it out or just kind of wait and see?
I wouldn't touch it now.
Wondered if there was a replacement at Penn Farm or something.
No,
No, we,
not a summer tower. No.
now these were all real hard to get, but, I'm thinking of waiting until like June 1st, and if nothing pops, then ask Vic if they have another one that they could dig for us in the fall. But on the point of trees at the farm, I think we have about 19 right now, which is the most we've had. And so we need to start thinking about taking trees from there. At least some of them anyway.
So we should get an inventory of what they are in particular and start to think about where they're gonna go in the fall. Or do they have to stay until spring?
I think some of them could come out in the fall, yeah. And by the way, those are all your trees and they're all paid for, right?
Good deal.
Some from the budget, some from anonymous donors, whatever, but
Where are, on the farm are they being stored or planted? Where, can you see it from?
No, you
No.
go in, you go between the barn and the house, and then go through the parking lot and then head straight back. There's some hoop houses there. And they're alongside the hoop houses.
Oh, wow. Toby,
would you like to go sometime?
Yeah, I would.
Well,
They're actually
listen,
back towards.
I am thrilled
Yeah.
because, I think only one other person has ever gone out to the farm, other than Norman and Cleveland.
Well, when do you guys go? I'd like to come.
Well,
pick you up.
listen, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, you can
All of you are
access
welcome,
it
by the way.
easily.
You know, we'd be,
I've gone out there with Ron.
Yeah.
Whenever the gates open, you don't need a code
right,
and it's easy to find.
Which-
Like
which,
Norman
which is,
said.
which is Monday through Thursday. So you're welcome to go out at any time or to join up.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Yeah,
Like to see that.
You have a field trip.
Yeah, it's cool.
yeah,
Right,
take them out.
Art, Linda, you in for a field trip to the farm? Okay. Okay, that handles spring planning plan, I believe. Number 3 is the extended watering plan. And I believe that Mr. Bukolich has talked to the city. And I believe that they are currently watering the trees. They've been bagged and are being watered. And Mr. Bukolich said that they are handling 75 trees, I believe.
Well, unfortunately, they're doing 79. So we're a little over the 75.
But they're not counting, right?
No, well, yes, they are. But certainly thanks to Rick and everyone else who's been not only planning this, but actually doing the watering on a regular basis. And we thank you for that. Built it one time, we gave it a go and kept a lot of these going. I'll just draw one little point to you and the thing that's changed the most dramatically here is the shift in the watering from the east side of Delaware Street to the west side. And it's actually becoming fairly obvious that we're doing what we said we would do with the 5-year plan. I.e., one of the points was to plant a lot more over on the west side. So we're up to about 40 trees now. And what's really great is we have about 16 people doing their own watering over there. So you'd really have a lot more dots over on the left-hand side of this page. Yeah, it's been an interesting experiment and, you know, we haven't lost a tree over there.
thank you for initiating and coordinating that. How long will they continue to, will that go through the summer?
No, it will go until probably, about Thanksgiving,
Oh,
you know. Unless we really have some real rains, you know, I don't see them, you know, there's nothing, it's just dry bones. And yet we keep taking trees off and somehow they live. I don't know. It's someone's got a tie-in with Mother Nature.
anything further on the watering?
I think that's good, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
watering through October.
We're just fortunate enough to have it done. I only have one more thing, Ed, and it's this thing I handed out last time.
Yes.
I don't know if there's been any progress made on this or not, but
Spreadsheet.
I'm not.
Obviously not. The expert is just laughing.
I'm not gonna,
Remember, Mr.
I'm not
Mrs.
gonna
Mrs.
draw her
Husky
in.
saying that she would be interested, particularly interested in
Did you see this before?
Yes, I did, and I went up and said spreadsheets are us, but
No,
then
you
they
didn't see
said, no,
this, did you?
it's a city job.
This is the thing that would make your job so simple. And would answer a lot of the questions that people had today, right? Like the gal with the silver maple, whose form has been submitted about 3 times, and we reject it every time. There's nothing really wrong with the tree, and it's not causing any difficulty since they put the new curb in, which really restrains it in there. It's a good looking tree, and it's, you know, maybe not the one I'd plant, but it's difficult just to saw it down and say too bad. You know,
So helicopters are not a legitimate
that's
reason for
it,
removal.
that's it.
It does have a pretty large branch that it has a very large branch that's practically on the roof of the first house on the corner
Yeah,
of Sixth and Fremont.
but I would think it, you know, it could come off. It's had trimming. But we've got Kathy Warner's over on Harmony Street, which has been on the list to remove for about the last 3-4 years, and it never gets taken down. And it is out in the street. It's actually tearing the tarmac up.
On Harmony, whereabouts? Second, third?
That's almost Harmony in the Strand. It'd be right across from the parish house. There's that one, and then the one on the corner that Linda pointed out to us before, right on the corner of the Strand and Harmony, probably one of the last larger silver maples left. Kathy's maybe every bit, it's probably bigger than that one now because that one's had a lot of limbs taken off of it.
Actually, you were the one who pointed it out to me, and I shared it in the article, but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was really interesting. I just want to give credit where it's due.
Yeah. And in terms of tree pits, Ed tackled the toughest one, where we took down the London plane tree on Delaware Street between 6th and 7th. And he did that huge area, and today we just started on Mrs. Seitz's tree at 55 the Strand. Remember, she was in last time and was trying to speed things up a little bit. Stump has been ground out beautifully. And Ed and I just started with the bricking today, so it'll be fine. So you're paid up for all the things that we messed up for spring, which is really quite something. You think of all those tree pits that we redid. Thanks, Ed.
We still have some.
Thank you.
Still something to do on Third Street.
Yes.
Okay, moving along, we have one further item, the elm tree treatment proposal, which I found on my phone here, and I brought, this was from Bartlett Tree Experts, and it had to do with the Dutch elm disease, I believe. Question was whether to pay for treatment of the tree in front of the Amstel House and also on the corner of the Strand and Delaware Street on the Jefferson House property. And I think Mr. Draper determined that that was a city city tree. Well, I think Art came to practically the same conclusion.
Yeah, close.
And then it was further communicated to us that that's a city tree. So I believe that we're, I think I've heard correctly that we're in agreement that treatment should be arranged. Provide treatment at a cost of $3,073. Looks like it would fit into the budget. We have a balance of 6,700. So,
Is that for 1 year?
I think that was every other year, wasn't it? Wasn't it like the ash tree thing that?
the proposals in reference to the continued maintenance of 2 elm trees. Please consider the following recommendations for the 2025 growing season. So I believe, not certain, but looks like it's a 1 year, a one-time treatment. I have to read this again more carefully. I don't know if this means anything to you. It says 2-year residual of disease suppression from 1 root flare injection.
2 years, so
it's, yeah,
it's good for 2 years.
Because it's the when it came up, none of us had ever heard about it, so it had to be way back.
Well, both trees are alive and they're looking good.
The one in front of the Amstel house, that was assessed as being healthy and just needs to be treated to keep the Dutch elm disease away, right?
Remember we had a cord,
Yeah,
$1,600 or something to
right,
look at it, and they said it was fine,
okay.
you know.
So something that's gonna, so how much is it? So every 2 years, we're gonna have to take it out of our budget, but it's, last month you said it was,
Perform a systemic root flare injection treatment to the following plants to help suppress Dutch elm disease. Those 2 trees that I mentioned, 1 treatment at $3,073 per treatment.
Every 2 years.
per treatment. So is that each tree?
I think this will include both,
Oh, okay.
the estimate includes both trees. You said every 3 years?
Well, it's a 2-year residual, so I don't know how it works, but it's good. Let's just say it's good for 2 years.
So 25.
But, yeah, if.
Legacy trees, right?
Yeah, legacy
Yeah.
trees, you're right.
Yeah, helpful. And if you're planning your, budget for July, you can, work it in there if it's every year. If it isn't, then just leave it out of this one.
Okay. It sounds like the discussion is in favor of buying that treatment.
Yes.
So I make a motion that we approve the estimate, approve the plan. Is there a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Right.
Okay, so we'll contact, I believe this came from, let's see here. Yeah, we'll contact city administrator Antonina and tell her we want to act on that and get the treatment done. I think.
Perfect.
Okay.
And you're gonna do that?
I can do that. Mr. Draper, would you like to say anything? We appreciate you coming.
No, I don't have anything to say, you guys.
Okay.
You guys covered everything as far as looking.
Okay, if you have any recommendations for us, at least I'm open to that. Kind of new with this, and Mrs. Susky's new on the committee, and I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
All right. Mr. Lear.
The ash trees, the contract with Bartlett for treating them. I don't know if it was the last meeting or the meeting before, it was what recommended we wait until they leaf out,
Oh,
but they were,
ash borer treatment, yeah,
yes.
that rings a bell, thank you.
So that's been going on since last June. It was first brought up.
Discussion as to what.
Yeah, but, I mean, Ron brought in pictures. And one wasn't even an ash tree, it was
The honey locust.
a honey locust tree. So my point is, can we clear that up so that, because that was a huge bill that we were paying to save like a half dead tree that was never gonna get any better. Do you remember the number?
45, West Fifth has been taken down. And then the first one from, the sheriff's house to the arsenal, there are 3 of them along there. And one of them has been taken out. The second one I checked today and it had leafed out. And the third one up the way looks pretty good. And there's one other one that's not our responsibility that we've been covering, and it's in Dewey Park. It's right next to William Penn. Yeah. It's kind of a different one. It's kind of open and flared. And it may be that way because of the canopy around it. It's a little tight in there. But, doesn't reach out and get the sun like the other ones. But all of them actually look fairly good. But I know that's not our responsibility in Dewey. And the 2 out in front of the sheriff's house are honey locusts. I don't know how they ever got on the list. You have 2 by your house, right? You have 2 honey locusts and you have 2 the ash trees.
Exactly, yeah.
Very young.
I know.
And how do they look?
Oh, they look good. I was looking at them. They've been healthy the last year. So I was looking this year and they're starting to leaf out, but
Right.
I'm hoping the ash board hasn't gotten to them yet.
Lucky
I don't know.
you, they're our responsibility.
What's that?
I say, lucky you, they're our responsibility.
Right, I
They're
know.
right on the sidewalk.
Exactly.
But there's just trees that are on their Bartlett's list that have either been removed or also, they gotta adjust the bill.
Right.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, we should go out and take a look at them, right? I mean, I know at one time there were like 18 trees on the list.
Okay.
And some of those have been taken down.
We need to take inventory of the
Yeah.
live trees.
The ones that are worth,
Yeah,
I know there's one on Fifth Street that was at least half dead. That was last year.
That was taken out.
that was taken out.
Yeah,
Towards
but
the
it's-
church at the, yeah.
Yeah, just before UAME, right on that side.
Yeah.
And then there's one on Clymer Street over in Dobbinsville, a huge
Oh,
one.
really? And it's been treated?
20 row houses and this sits right in the middle. So it's. Is that still on there, Ed? Is that on your list? Like 26 Clymer Street? or
629 Clymer.
29, yeah.
Yeah, I found your memo. It said that 6 trees require treatment. But this list might be 5 years old. I think it's this.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I guess I'm a little confused as to. Do we need to do an inventory of these
I
before?
would think, yeah, because it make a huge difference in your bill.
Yeah, make an inventory and then call Bartlett to get another estimate on treating ash borer. So when,
Anybody want to get involved in that? I'm not sure I could identify them personally, but. Well, we do have a list.
no, yeah, okay. So we need to go over that. That's the list of all the ash trees on the street.
5, 6. Yeah, and.
Is
Ron
that
has
all we
the,
have left?
we have the address. 2 trees at the Arsenal, 1 on Harmony.
Two on Harmony. Well, one's on Harmony, one's on Second.
Okay, 132 East Second. Oh, wait a minute, that says what? No tree is a large leaf linden.
Cause your two trees are on Second and in Harmony, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, they,
that must be here.
yes, Second in Harmony.
Second in
And
harmony.
that says one tree, and then I think they have another one listed on 27 Harmony is me as well. These are the. Wait,
These
yeah,
kind of same location. these two.
yeah, but two different trees, but on the corner, so one goes Harmony, one goes Second.
So they should be treated.
Yeah, they treat both of those, and they're healthy, from what I've seen this year.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any invoice or anything, so I don't know what the cost is.
Well, I can look and and we'll just compare trees next month and see which
Absolutely.
ones we agree on.
put as many eyes on it as you can because it's a substantial bill.
Right. And then I guess I could call Bartlett about this,
It seemed like we reduced it in half
We did,
already.
but with the leaves off,
so sure, okay, I will write them
which
down
probably
now.
isn't fair, is it? Ed, could you send a copy out to everyone of what that list is?
Yeah,
Or ask,
Do you have a copy of this?
that's the only one I have.
yeah, ask Marika if
I can take
she
it.
should send it out to everyone.
You want me to keep this, or do you wanna keep this?
I'll tell you what, I'll take a picture and then I'll let you keep that. I can copy everybody with this,
Okay,
I think.
so I'll take a look, and you're gonna take a look, and we'll compare
Right,
what looks healthy.
Yep.
And by then, the trees should be fully leaved out,
Yeah.
at least.
they're just starting now.
Yeah, cause mine were just barely.
Yeah.
And I was getting a little nervous, but I knew they're late to really leaf out. I think they have their, but they're,
Right.
yeah, they're.
Are there any other comments? Suggestions?
I certainly hope not.
Everybody exhausted?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
say-
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Forget. She's not talking. She doesn't talk, she doesn't count.
If she doesn't tell us,
Uh,
then we won't keep.
Can't give us answers.
All in favor of adjourning?
Yeah.
All in favor. We are adjourned.
All right.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy, as always. Did you all wanna just